שחזרת בי, נשמתי בחמלה רבה אמונתך, מודה לי, מודה לי, מודה לי לפניך, מודה לי, מודה לי, מודה לי לפניך, מודה לי לפניך, רוח חי וקיים, שחזרת בי, נשמתי בחמלה רבה אמונתך, מודה לי, מודה לי, מודה לי לפניך, מודה לי, מודה לי, מודה לי לפניך, מודה לי לפניך, רוח חי וקיים, שחזרת בי, נשמתי בחמלה רבה אמונתך, מודה לי, מודה לי, מודה לי לפניך, מודה לי, מודה לי, מודה לי לפניך, מודה לי לפניך, רוח חי וקיים, שחזרת בי, נשמתי בחמלה רבה אמונתך, מודה לי, מודה לי, מודה לי לפניך, מודה לי, מודה לי, מודה לי לפניך. Once more. מודה לי לפניך, רוח חי וקיים, שחזרת בי, נשמתי בחמלה רבה אמונתך, מודה לי, מודה לי, מודה לי לפניך, מודה לי, מודה לי, מודה לי לפניך. Hello, KZOOMers.
Hey, oh, we missed you.
We missed you.
Yeah, it's good to see
We
you.
missed you. And I was at eyl-HaMakom, a conference for rabbis and cantors, spiritual directors, rabbinic pastors.
Yeah.
And it was amazing. It was amazing. And, you know, it almost feels like the whole time of during COVID, like being on this in this inner place was like preparation so that I could be with people and love them and also feel their love. Have a space for that love.
More.
And so it's really kind of a, you know, it's being with people for me is like a test of my spiritual practice, to not be overwhelmed, to keep really focus my attention, and to be able to sort of look into the miracle of our relationships with each other, of what they can be, which is a force of sending. And that's what I want to look at this KZOOM. What does it mean to send each other, to be sent on our path through our connection? And I wanted just to say that it is the 10th anniversary of my mother's death, so her yahrzeit. And you know, if anybody sent me, it was my mom.
Yeah.
She sent me. She sent me. So I want to kind of call in Evelyn's presence here, and sort of, you know, feel her sending, even from the other side, still sending me. And the words of sending that are here in the Song of Songs are, you know, that it says, arise, my friend. So the first thing we do is, you know, a realization that we have to rise up. We have to lift ourselves up, you know, out of what I call the muck, the places I get stuck. So the arise, Kumi Lach. So, and rayati is my friend. And so, so I have to open up that place of friendship inside me. And then the word yafati, and open up the capacity for receiving beauty. Like these are kind of the prerequisites for me being sent. First, I need to rise up. I need to befriend this moment. I need to open up the capacity to receive and create beauty in this world. And then these words, which I love, says lach. So lach, you know, it's usually translated sort of like, you know, go, you know, come away, you know, and you know, the literal translation is, you know, is go towards yourself. Go towards yourself. Take the inner journey. And these words are reminiscent of some very important words in our tradition, kind of the beginning of the story of the people, when Abraham receives the invitation from God to go on this journey. And it really is an inner journey to discover the potential that is held within, that may be locked up, and to explore the shadows and do the work of transformation. It kind of all starts with those words, lech, and in the feminine, lach. So I'm seeing this, you know, and the next words in the song are really saying, because it's time. It's really time. as Pesach would say, it's go time.
Go time.
It's go time. It's like, okay, this is the time. There's a blossoming forth in the cosmos that is inviting you in. So, and I think this idea of the inner life is so important and so kind of ignored very often. It's like, what does it mean to have an inner life? And I feel like that's kind of one of the sort of kind of purpose of my rabbinate is to help others and myself to cultivate an inner life. And so I just want to take a little bit from the Hazrat Anayat Khan wrote a book called The Inner Life. I just want to take a few words from his book because I think they're important. He says the inner life does not merely consist in closing the eyes and looking inward. The inner life is to look outwardly and inwardly and to find one's beloved everywhere. It's to look outwardly and inwardly and to find one's beloved everywhere. But God cannot be made a beloved unless the love element is awakened sufficiently. And I think that's what we're doing. We are awakening that inside us. And so I'm going to stop there with that. But I think that to think about this awakening, this rising up, this befriending, this kind of beauty emerging, and then being sent. And it is kind of my definition of a friend is the one who sends me to that inner place, the one who sends me to my potential and calls forth that possibility in me, and I want to do that for each other. So
I like to think of this kind of as a Cajun waltz. You can get up and waltz if you'd like.
You could, and you might want to sing this to each other. To these beautiful faces here. I'm just going to see all the faces here. And there are those faces that we want to be able to sing you to yourself. Go towards yourself, meaning like become self-realized. Open up, to what's possible.
Kumi Lach, rayati, yafati. Kumi Lach, rayati, yafati. Kumi Lach, rayati, yafati. Kumi Lach, rayati, yafati.
chant to descend.
Kumi Lach, rayati, yafati. Kumi Lach, rayati, yafati. Kumi Lach, rayati, yafati. Kumi Lach, rayati, yafati.
Find another phase. So close your eyes and feel yourself sent. Feel the force of friendship, of spiritual friendship. The kind of friend that is not just pulling you close to them, but is sending you. Feel what it's like to feel seen. And that friend, just the great friend who's God, who is sending you to your wholeness, sending you to healing, sending you on this path that you came here to do, to live, to walk. So walking this path is complicated sometimes because we don't always don't always find the support for it, it's almost like we have to create a life that kind of allows for that walk, for that path, and and there was this. There's one teaching that I loved from this book, The Mind Illuminated by Kuldasa, that says the direct knowledge of the true nature of reality and the permanent liberation from suffering describes the only genuinely satisfactory goal of the spiritual path.
I mean, really?
A mind with this type of insight experiences life and death as a great adventure, with the clear purpose of manifesting love and compassion towards all beings. So I like this, to cultivate the sense of life and death as a great adventure. And calling on my mom, Rachmel told me that he had this conversation with my mom.
Yeah. We were in England, and it was her birthday. It must have been her birthday. And I was talking to her, and she said, "Well, how you doing?" And I said, "Well, boy, I've been having quite an adventure with Shefa. She said, it's always an adventure with Shefa. Just in that kind of tone. It's always an adventure.
But it's like to have that attitude that life and death is a great adventure. Like that attitude comes and goes. But that's what I want. That's what I want to cultivate. So the Torah in the book of Deuteronomy has this instruction, and it as in the story of Deuteronomy, and the people are kind of finding their place, and like instructed to find their place in the promised land, knowing that it's not easy to find that place of that path of wholeness. And so this practice, I call it an appetite for holiness. It's finding that place inside you that is drawn towards holiness, wholeness, kind of a spiritual dimension that is, much broader, much vaster. And so Deuteronomy says, and he, meaning the Levite, that place that creates beauty inside you, shall come, and with all the desire of his soul, with this appetite for holiness, really, to the place of God, and will find his place, will find her place in the landscape, to be able to do that work of self-realization. And the instruction really was not just for the Levite, was for everybody else to say, this Levite needs your support, you need to help her find a place. Because the world doesn't always make room for that holiness. So for this practice, I just want everybody to find inside, what is that appetite, that desire inside you, to move sort of beyond the superficial into the kind of the depths of your being, and to be on that journey. And then we'll kind of step, as Abraham did, towards yourself, in order to discover that potential that is held within, and do the work. Do the work. V'chol avat nafsho eyl-HaMakom, 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 v'chol avat nafsho eyl-HaMakom. ehnu-lah uva bekol avat nafsho eyl-HaMakom 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 uva bekol avat nafsho eyl-HaMakom. So you would think that this idea of the inner life would mean a solitary path. And yet, what I'm feeling from the Song of Songs is that we don't, we send each other, and we need each other in order to take that path inward. That we need that love to send us. We need that kind of friendship that sees us. So I was thinking maybe, just to ask the question, who is it that sends you on this path? It might be a friend, it might be your mother, but it might, might be, I don't know, it might be a teacher, might be a student. Who is it that you feel like sends you to walk this path, that maybe even calls you on your stuff, that keeps you honest?
Oh, that's the best of friends that will call you on me on my stuff in the way that I can hear it. I'm so grateful.
And to see that you're in your integrity. So maybe you can, if you feel like putting in the chat. Just to honor those names of another couple of teachers and groups. My daughter and her partner.
Sweet.
My father, right?
My fellows on the spiritual paths I am blessed to walk.
The all in all, Shlomo and Zalman, my mother. And Rachmel, you sent me.
Oh, my darling.
My husband. Those who ask me spiritual questions,
yeah.
ancestors known and unknown, teachers.
Those who ask me, spiritual questions.
Spiritual questions,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's good. We
Questions
should ask
are
each
good.
other those kind
Those
of questions.
are good.
Yeah.
So, we can think about that, and maybe even, I felt like this at eyl-HaMakom, it was sort of a time for me to sort of acknowledge, people who are sending me to.
Yeah, you
Chant
got to see a
group,
lot
my
of them.
family, everyone I'm heartfully open to. Yeah. So it's like the place that we're going is the place of our wholeness, and so I wanted to do this practice that's called Unifying the Heart, but I was just reminded of this teacher teaching by Eckhart Tolle. A good reminder for me. He says, "You are not in the universe. You are the universe, an intrinsic part of it. Ultimately, you are not a person, but a focal point where the universe is becoming conscious of itself." What an amazing miracle.
Yeah.
Being a focal point where the universe is becoming conscious of itself.
Wow.
So I kind of feel like, that's why I'm doing this work in my wholeness. The universe is becoming conscious of itself through me, but I still have to do the work. So this work is laid out as the unification of these different aspects of our heart being that are called yira and ahava. So love and awe. And that when in bringing those together inside us, like whatever work we're doing inside us is reflected out in the world. It's like if we really give ourselves to the work, somehow it's reflected out there, and
It comes back.
and then it comes back, right. So I want to just ask everybody to tune into your heart, and maybe breathe into the heart and find there kind of this kind of both the brokenness and the wholeness, just like the ark held the broken tablets and the whole tablets together. We hold that in our heart. And the purpose of this unification is to be able to come before God, come before the essence. Ve'achid levaveinu, ve'achid levaveinu,
Me'achei levaveinu le'ava ule'yira et shemecha. Me'achei levaveinu Me'achei levaveinu le'ava ule'yira et shemecha.
Once more.
Me'achei levaveinu Me'achei levaveinu le'ava ule'yira et
So let's take a couple minutes just to breathe into the heart, finding that wholeness, and also finding kind of raising up our commitment to the heart path. To that place of the inner life of finding the beloved out there and in here, and making a commitment to the cultivating of that love in the heart, fullness, wholeness. And when we do that inner work, everyone will benefit from it.
Yeah. It really makes a difference what we radiate out into the world.
So one more practice that I wanted to do is, and this KZOOM comes from the book of Bamidbar, the wilderness. And the wilderness is kind of a metaphor for all of the struggles, the work, the healing, the obstacles, the resistance. Everything happens in the wilderness.
It's something we can't control.
It is the
wilderness.
It is the place of transformation, and meeting our own difficult places. And so something happens in the book of Bamidbar is that Miriam, who represents that aspect of us that knows where to find the deep nourishment. Miriam dies, and the people are thirsty, and they, there's a lot of complaining in the book of Bamidbar, and a lot of kind of going the wrong way and finding, and sort of like getting kind of smashed by our own mistakes and everything. But there's one thing that happens is that the people at some point, they go out into the wilderness. They go out and they find this well, and they are instructed to sing to the well, and that well is inside us, and it is the well of Shekhinah, the divine presence that is kind of hidden. It is our kind of potential that is locked up, and so so that well can't pour forth all that goodness unless we find the right song to sing to her.
Okay.
So the song is I'll leave air. Oh, rise up, oh well. And then we say ehnu-lah, chant her up. And if anybody's ever been with me on retreat knows that what I love to do is chant people up. One person sort of goes in the middle, and everybody else
chants to
that person, and
they float up to the ceiling, but we push them down.
and they open up the wells within them. So I want to just this theme of like being sent is like, who's gonna chant you up? Who's gonna see in you that potential and call it forth? And this is what I think about as my spiritual direction. Also, what my spiritual coaching practice. What I want to do is like to be able to see what's possible and to be able to call it forth. See the goodness in you. Or sometimes it's seeing the wildness in you. Sometimes it's seeing what's hidden, and to be able to call it forth. So again, here we are on this inner path, and yet we are kind of interdependent, and we need to be able to call forth from each other that those hidden places. So we'll chant it first. Just imagine ourselves in that wilderness, finding the well that is that needs our song, and we're chanting up Shekhinah. We're chanting up the divine presence that is hidden in this world. And then at some point, if you feel moved, just open your eyes and see if you can see that divine presence in these faces, and we can chant each other up. I'll leave ehnu-lah, ehnu-lah. I'll leave ehnu-lah, ehnu-lah. I'll leave ehnu-lah, ehnu-lah. I'll leave ehnu-lah. I'll and feel that presence of that well of Shekhinah that is welling up, that is waiting for the right incantation, waiting to be received. So we are bringing Shekhinah out of exile back into her home. You're opening up these channels within us. That's why we do the inner work, to open up these channels so that they can flow forth. And we get the benefit of it too. When that generosity comes forth from us, it also kind of
lights us up all the way through.
Fills us up. Yeah. So it's kind of amazing. So take a final look around the KZOOM room here at these wonderful faces here.
Hey, oh, dear ones. Okay.
And so it'll be great sometime to be. We'll be together in person. But a few of you are going to be on this retreat that's coming up.
The end of January.
Julie and Nechama.
Oh yeah.
Oh, and Sarah Joy. And then there's other retreats, and I know that they're coming up, and so just
this is the one in Tampa.
Invite you to go to the website, give a little donation and honor what you have received, and take a look and see what retreats are happening, to see if there's something that you might want to.
There's a bunch of new hallelujahs. There's always new hallelujahs. Modanis.
On the website. Yeah, the Modani that we started with is 114 on the website. And Aliyah just posted
today. This afternoon.
Today. So, going